The world of Formula One is about to get even more exciting. After years of speculation and intense efforts, Motors Cadillac has officially been approved to join the Formula One grid starting in 2026. This marks a monumental step for one of America's most iconic automotive brands, and an equally significant moment for Formula One as it continues its rapid expansion. It's not an easy feat to get into Formula One these days. The grid has remained at a steady 10 teams since 2016, when Manor Racing left, and for good reason. The stakes are higher than ever, and with the sport's popularity soaring, it's become an exclusive club. But now GM Cadillac has cracked the code, becoming the first new team to gain approval in years. Before we dive into what this means for Formula One and how GM Cadillac pulled it off, let's rewind a bit to understand how we got here. Last year, Andretti Global, led by Michael Andretti, made headlines with their bold attempt to join the F1 grid. They had big plans, ambitious goals, and even a partnership with General Motors. Before you can join, you have to be assessed by the FIA, and they have plenty of criteria. 1. The technical ability and resources of the team. 2. The ability of the team to raise and maintain sufficient funding to meet its financial obligations, and to allow participation in the championship at a competitive level. 3. The ability of the team to meet and comply with its obligations under the F1's sporting, technical, and financial regulations. 4. A detailed business plan, including financial projections, for the first 5 years of the project. 5. The team's experience and capabilities in the automobile and/or motorsports sector, including technical experience, racing experience, facilities, equipment, and engineering resources, and relevant staff headcount and experience. 6. Whether the team and all individuals proposing to participate in the ownership, control, or management of the team are fit and proper persons. 7. Considerations of sustainability, EDI, equality, diversity, and inclusion, and societal benefit. 8. The FIA's assessment of the value that the candidate may bring to the championship, including consideration of its reputation and integrity. All these criteria have to be met for the application to move on in the process. But even if they are all met, the F1 commercial rights holder may also impose additional selection criteria or conditions, to be advised separately during the application process. But despite meeting all of the FIA's strict criteria, their application was ultimately rejected by Formula One Management, or FOM. Why? Well, F1 wasn't convinced they'd bring enough value to the sport. You see, adding an 11th team isn't as simple as just rolling a few extra cars onto the grid. It means reshaping the financial structure, dividing the prize money differently, and expanding infrastructure at every race. FOM felt Andretti's entry would disrupt the balance more than it would enhance the competition. They even argued that the $200 million anti-dilution fee, meant to compensate existing teams for sharing their revenue, wasn't enough anymore, given how much the sport has grown in value. But Andretti didn't give up. Instead, they went back to the drawing board, determined to find a way to make their dream a reality. Over the next year, Andretti Global made some big moves. They established a satellite base in the UK to better integrate into the heart of Formula One operations. They conducted advanced wind tunnel testing at Toyota's facility in Germany, laying the groundwork for a competitive car. They brought in heavyweights like Pat Symonds, who'd previously been Formula One's chief technical officer, and they began building a 2026 chassis, reportedly making significant progress in crash testing it. Then came the real game changer, a leadership shakeup. Michael Andretti stepped back from day-to-day operations, handing over the reins to Dan Towers. This change in leadership, combined with GM's decision to take on a much more central role, shifted the focus of the project. The team would no longer be branded as Andretti Global. Instead, it would carry the prestigious Cadillac name, representing one of General Motors' most iconic and globally recognized brands. This rebranding and GM's deeper involvement were pivotal in convincing Formula One management to take a second look. And now, here we are. General Motors Cadillac is officially set to hit the grid in 2026. Now, joining Formula One is no walk in the park. The FIA, the sport's governing body, has a meticulous application process designed to ensure that only the most capable teams make it through. This isn't just about building fast cars. It's about proving you can survive and thrive in one of the toughest, most competitive environments in the world. For starters, there's a very short window to submit an application, and in that application, you have to outline everything. Your technical capabilities, your business model, your financial projections for the next 5 years, and even how you plan to contribute to sustainability and diversity. Then there's the $200 million anti-dilution fee. This fee is meant to protect the financial interests of the existing teams, ensuring that adding a new team doesn't significantly reduce their share of the prize money. But as we saw with Andretti's initial rejection, Even this fee is starting to look outdated in F1's booming market. But the biggest hurdle isn't just meeting the FIA's criteria, it's convincing Formula One management that your entry will add value to the sport. And that's where GM Cadillac nailed it. Let's talk about why GM Cadillac's entry is such a big deal. First, there's the American factor. Formula One has been making huge strides in the United States over the past few years. With races in Austin, Miami, and now Las Vegas, the sport has never been more popular in America. GM Cadillac, as one of the most iconic American automotive brands, is perfectly positioned to capitalize on this growing fan base. This isn't just about marketing though. Cadillac brings prestige, history, and a reputation for innovation. Pairing that with Formula One's high-tech, high-stakes environment creates a perfect match. It's a chance for Cadillac to not only showcase their engineering prowess, but also to redefine their brand on a global stage. And let's not forget the competition. Adding an 11th team shakes things up. It creates more opportunities for drivers, engineers, and sponsors, and it gives fans another team to root for, or against. More teams mean more battles on track, more strategies at play, and ultimately more excitement for everyone watching. So what's next for GM Cadillac? Although they've been approved for 2026, there's still a lot of work to do before their cars can line up on the grid. One of their biggest challenges will be engines. Cadillac won't have their own power unit ready until 2028, which means they'll need to partner with an existing supplier for the first 2 seasons. That's a common practice for new teams, but choosing the right partner will be crucial to their success. Beyond that, they'll need to build out their team, from hiring top-tier engineers and mechanics to setting up state-of-the-art facilities. The foundation is already being laid, but the next 2 years will be critical in determining whether they can hit the ground running or spend their first few seasons playing catch-up. For Formula One, GM Cadillac's arrival is a clear sign of the sport's growing appeal. At a time when F1 is attracting record audiences, signing sponsorship deals with global brands, and expanding into new markets, the addition of a powerhouse like GM only strengthens its position as the pinnacle of motorsport. But more than that, it's a reminder of what makes Formula One so special. This isn't just a sport, it's a global stage where the best of the best come to prove themselves. And now, with Cadillac in the mix, we're about to witness a new chapter in this incredible story. GM released their statement of joining the F1 grid with the following quotes. "We're excited to partner with General Motors in bringing a dynamic presence to Formula One," said Dan Towers, CEO of TWG Global's motorsports business. "Together, we're assembling a world-class team that will embody American innovation and deliver unforgettable moments to race fans around the world. We appreciate FIA and FOM's support of our application and their recognition of the value we can bring to the championship. Mario Andretti, the last American F1 champion, will serve as a director on the team's board. My first love was Formula One, and now, 70 years later, the F1 paddock is still my happy place. I'm absolutely thrilled with Cadillac, Formula One, Mark Walter, and Dan Towers," said Andretti. "To still be involved at this stage of my life, I have to pinch myself to make sure I'm not dreaming." So as 2026 approaches, the excitement is building. How will GM Cadillac fare against the likes of Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull? Will they bring fresh energy to the grid, or will they struggle to find their footing in this ultra-competitive world? One thing's for sure, the journey from here to their first race will be one of the most fascinating stories in modern Formula One. And whether you're a fan of Cadillac, a Formula One purist, or just someone who loves a good underdog story, there's no denying that this is a moment to celebrate. Welcome to the grid, GM Cadillac. We can't wait to see what you bring to the table.